Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
I'm having my coffee too, if that's what you're having, Eric.
I'm having green tea.
Are you having green tea?
Yeah, I'm a green tea guy.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you to everyone who's joined us today on Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio and Biz Talk Radio. This is exciting. We've got the king of theater, film. I mean, come on, Eric. You've got over, 700 credits? We've got actor Eric Roberts with us today, and I can't even be more excited, even with all the technology and everything that we've got going on here. I mean, this is like crazy insane. How are you feeling today, Robert?
I feel great. You know, you and I in show business, everybody around us, our crew, our friends, our peers, we have the best jobs on the planet. And once you realize that and you're traveling around the planet, you just fall in love with life. You fall in love with the fact that there is life, and you just stay happy. And I was kind of a cranky, belligerent young man. And then I met my wife, who tamed me and made me pay attention to kindness and have this career that's all over the world. I'm the happiest person you've talked to at least this week.
Or even for 2025.
Yeah, maybe
for the whole year.
We'll see how it works out.
I was in the shower and this question came to me, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to wait to ask it.
What?
Is there such a thing as immortality when being an actor or even someone that's in film? Is there such a thing as immortality? Is that something you look forward to?
Well, you're asking a huge question, and it's why we're actors. It's why we want to make a memory. It's why we want to make a statement. It's why we want to make an impression, because we want to be remembered. And it's obviously because somebody didn't pay attention to us enough as little ones. So we're hungry for that, and we need that, and we seek it. And when we get successful, we realize what it is, and we realize where it fits on and in us, and we understand it. And once you understand that, you learn that it's something everybody needs at least a little piece of. And if they can't have it directly, they want it indirectly through me, because they know my work. And so I love my life. I love my peeps. I love my audience. I love my career. I'm the luckiest guy I know, and I'm not exaggerating. I am so happy I could cry every morning I get up. And that sounds kind of melodramatic, and it is, but I love my life. I just love my life.
I have to ask, and I ask this sometimes, but I am curious to find out what your answer would be. Are you proud of yourself, knowing everything that you have shared in your earlier interviews, Eric? And I digress back hours worth of content of your interviews to be where you are at today. What does being proud mean to you? And is it something that you believe you've accomplished?
Well, you asked a very difficult, very important, very personal question, but it can't be answered with, it's like this. It needs to be dealt with much more broadly. And that is this, that, being famous is a gift that's bestowed you. And if you utilize fame well, it's a wonderful tool, and it's a wonderful place to live. And if you don't, it is one of the most horrifying places to be on the planet, the planet of fame. And so you have to be very kind to yourself, kind to others, kind to your career. You have to be kind. You have to learn kindness, because kindness is the only thing that sustains that kind of fortunate goodness. And it is enormous. Fame is enormous. And to have it everywhere you go to be welcome is the nicest gift on the planet, except my wife's love. I mean, it's the nicest gift on the planet to be welcome everywhere. They see me coming. It's Jack Roberts. Please come in. It's so neat, from restaurants to border crossings. It's just so much fun to be famous, and I so appreciate it, and I so want to give back because I don't deserve all this.
Or you've got a lot more to look forward to. That's obvious.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You had said in one of your interviews, this is going back to in an interview you had on Inside of You, you had said, ego, when it's presented, you don't judge it. It comes from fear. And once you know that, you accept what it is. What's your experience in that? Or what sort of advice can you advise someone who is scared of vulnerability, scared to trust, scared to try new things, to get out of their complacency of surviving, to trust, to know how to trust to survive?
I am very proud of that answer because it's not judgmental. Because people who have egos, or people who have out of control self-worth, only have it out of fear, only have it out of insecurity, only have it because they need to push harder to feel confident or to feel good about themselves. And once you understand that, you have empathy, and with empathy comes affection. You understand, and you want to hug them, and it's, even though it comes across as somewhat obnoxious, it is not. It is sheer fear and sheer insecurity and sheer need of somebody to hold your hand. And once you understand that, all behavior is acceptable. It's like you understand. And I've seen some horrible behavior, but it all comes out of fear and insecurity. And once you know that, it's not really horrible behavior. It's just a bad reaction. It's okay. And once you learn that, and also it's such a personal industry. I mean, everything is judged so personally. How you walk, how you talk, how you dress, how your hair is combed. Everything is so specifically personal to you. I don't like how he does this. And it can be a producer's assistant who says, I don't like how he dresses. Look at those clothes. Or look how he walks, whatever it is. And it's going to backfire on you because it's so personal. It's so directly whatever you didn't or you did do. And you have to get over that self-consciousness of knowing that, because once you know it, it is a fact that you live with. So you have to get over the self-consciousness of it, and you have to, because it's in your way if you don't.
It's true.
But you know, we have to always revert back to, we have the best jobs on the planet, dude. You and I have the best jobs there are.
We do. It's exciting.
I know. I'm with you.
Do you believe you've been challenged to be your greatest self?
Several times. The first time was my first movie, King of the Gypsies. The second time was my second movie, Paul's Case. Very difficult piece. I'm very proud of that. It was. In fact, that was my favorite. That was my favorite review. On the back page of Time magazine, it had a picture of me, and it said "The Perfect Paul," and that broke my heart artistically. I was so proud of that. And what was the question? I got off on it. What?
Do you believe you've been challenged to be your greatest self?
King of the Gypsies, Paul's Case, then Star 80. Star 80 was the hardest part I ever took on because it was a real person. He was not likable, but he was specific, and you had to play him as he was, not as you would want him to be. So that was the most challenging I've ever been through.
Wow.
And then, of course, It's My Party. It's My Party, where I played, it was a true story, where I played a man who came down with HIV, and then when it turned to AIDS, he threw himself a big party, and then he killed himself. And I'm very proud of that piece, It's My Party. Gregory Harrison, became one of my favorite actors in the world during that piece. He He played my boyfriend. And I think he and I and George Siegel were the only three heterosexuals on that set. But it was the best shoot. Randall Kleiser. Oh, God, what a director. What a guy. And we kicked its ass. But it was so challenging, and it made me scared every day, to answer your question.
Thank you. You mentioned your dad was your support system. How has that shaped you as a father?
Well, my father was not a good example as a dad. My father was kind of a mean old guy. He was like his father, and wanted things his way, and was very bright and did things well. So you thought, okay, this is the way to go. But he was a little too opinionated and a little too he didn't know the word compromise. And you have to learn compromise in order to survive in any business, but especially artistically, because you can't have everything your way artistically ever. And you must learn that very early, because you must learn to drop things. Okay, fine, I'll drop it. And you have to learn how to do that, just like grown-ups do.
It's true. Thank you. You taught your siblings how to read, write, and swim. What have you learned, if anything, from them?
Patience and kindness. Both of my sisters, when they're alone, are two of the kindest, most intelligent, most fun people to talk to, maybe on the planet. Those two and my wife are my favorite people to know.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Does anybody in the audience have a question at all? Matt, Michael, Maria, Yasi? Matt, you do. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
Sure.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Eric. Great to hear you. I've been a big fan of your work. I really enjoy your film Runaway Train, which was based off a script written by Akira Kurosawa. And I'm wondering, did Kurosawa ever visit the set that you know of, or if you were familiar with his films before working on that movie?
We should have been so lucky. When I first got the show, first of all, Runaway Train is the title of my book that just came out. It's a story of my life so far. It's called Runaway Train. The publisher titled it because I wanted to call it Julie Roberts' brother on the front and Emma Roberts' dad on the back. And they said, no, you can't do that. I said, but I think it's charming. They said, no, you'll look bad, whatever that meant. I said, okay. So they named it Runaway Train, which I do love, by the way. But yeah, that's my book. But what's the question about Runaway Train? I'm sorry. I got off talking about the book.
It's all right. The question was, the script for that was originally by Akira Kurosawa. And did he ever visit the set, or were you familiar with his movies at all before you were making the film?
I was only familiar with him by reputation. When I got the first script, it was his script. It was 300 pages long. It was lots of description of mountains and sunsets and snow and stuff and trains and smoke and steam and all kinds of descriptions that are very emotional. So it was about this thick. It was hard to read because it was so descriptive with very little dialogue. But I read it. I liked it, but it was like not a movie. It was a novel. And I'm like, well, what do we do? Thanks for the offer, but where am I in this? And my character was kind of a not so dangerous version of John's character. So when Eddie Bunker, who did the rewrite on Kurosawa's novel, made it into a script, when Eddie Bunker brought it down from 300 pages, I think it was 303 pages, down to 98 pages. And my guy was a milder version of John's character. So Eddie Bunker and I worked together to find that character that I played, and we changed him very much. So he was very different from John's character, and he still had an element of hope in him. We had to give him hope because John has no hope. John's character, Manny, no hope whatsoever. So we had to give our boy a little hope. So we made him naive and not such a bad guy. It was only statutory rape as opposed to rape, that kind of thing. You know, we like made him not horrible, but just a mistake, but a likable mistake, because John's character was not necessarily likable. You could admire him in certain ways, but you could not like him. And so,
Thank you, Eric. You did Dancing with the Stars for your wife. What has the experience done for you?
Dancing with the Stars was the greatest experience of my life as far as being involved in an event goes. They have a crew of over 200. That crew works in lockstep, perfect sync with each other all day, every day, without even speaking to each other about it. They just do it. It is so impressive. It is so much fun to watch. It is so much fun to be a little bitty piece of a cog in a huge wheel that keeps spinning and spinning perfectly. And you're mesmerized. You can't believe you're a part of it. And they're also kind, courteous, sweet, and they have great craft service. So I just love Dancing with the Stars. And those people, well, Britt, my dancing partner, was the kindest person I've ever met, with the exception of my wife. Britt was just magnificent to me, and I cannot dance, but Britt made up the difference. Britt was so good to me. And that experience taught me it's hard to dance, and you need to totally dedicate yourself to it if you're ever going to do it.
Were you scared of spraining an ankle or falling on your hand or anything?
No, I wasn't scared of any of that. What I was scared of was this, and I was scared. I got over stage fright about 35 years ago. I've been nervous on a set in easily 35 years, and I've been in movies now for almost 50. But I'm not nervous, except on that show, because you're there and suddenly lights up. 40 million people are watching you. 50 million of them are men just like me going, he can dance. So that's what's in my brain. So I'm petrified before I even make a move. And so that's where that show dominated me.
Well, that is where I say you definitely need to be proud of yourself, and should be, Eric.
Well, thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Michael or Matt, do you guys have any questions? Matt, do you have another question at all? Go ahead, Matt.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I guess, looking over all the different films you've done, Eric, is there anyone that you wish you could do like a sequel to, and have another take on the character?
I always wanted to do Pub Greenwich Village Part 2, and with my buddy Mickey Rourke. I always wanted to do that. But the problem with that it is a real technical problem, is now Mickey doesn't look like the same person. So that's the issue there. But I love Mickey, and I love that story. I love those characters, and I would love to continue it. And Runaway Train would only have a part 2 if we followed Buck's story, and Buck's story would be weird and interesting. But it would be a whole new avenue, So I can't really even like think of movies that'd be part 2 for me. It'd be weird. I'd have to really look at a list of them.
Thank you for that, Matt, and thank you, Eric. Yasi, do you have a question? If I'm saying that correctly, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi, thanks for the great conversation. I wanted to ask about your work with Paul Thomas Anderson in Inherent Vice.
What a cool cat. He's very specific. He knows just what he wants. He knows where and how he wants it. And he directs it this far away from you. He's right there with you. And he's just a sweetie pie. He's so gentle. He's so intelligent, and he's so patient. And he's like your sweet old grandfather who's helping you get through an exam. He's just a cool guy. And he has infinite patience, infinite kindness. Not like his movies. His like movies are they cause a little uncomfortable awareness. And He's not that guy on the set. He's so cool. And I just like him. I just like his style. I like how he is. And he's got this wife who's also super cool, Olivia. Olivia? I think so. And they're a cool couple. And they talk and they exchange and they work kind of together. And but he's the boss and he's just the coolest. And probably the most gentle genius I've ever been around.
Mm.
What you did with Mickey in Inherent Vice is also very noir inspired, and you brought a very subdued kind of enigmatic. You added to the enigma of that character. So, if I'm, please, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Were you inspired by like the noirs and, or, yeah? Please talk about the Mickey. I think that he was a very, that was one of your best characters that suited you very well, and you like did the character justice.
Oh, thank you. No, that was an occasion where that character and the way he was put structure wise into the story, it was all Paul Thomas. It was all, okay, Paul, what do you want to see? I got to see this and this and this. I'm going to cut it here. It's going to be there. So I need this and this. Okay, fine. And you go shoot that. You don't talk about interpretation. You talk about where to put your stuff. You don't talk about what does this mean to you. You don't go there because my character was known. He's a very technically he's like needed in spots. You think you're following him, but you're not. He's just in the story, and that's why I love that movie because of how it doesn't lie to you. And Paul's just a genius, simple as that.
Perfect. You've been a great actor, as you stated, since 14 in your one interview. Do you believe, or do the people you work with get it? Once again, you've been doing acting for over 50 years. Do people really get it?
Now, when you compliment yourself, you sound like a complete a-hole. So you have to be very careful. But I've always taken great pride in that from the time I was about an early teenager on, you could give me a script and I would go tear it up and I would find how to play whatever you asked me to play. And I would not read stage directions unless I had to, because I would just go by dialogue and the relationships. And that was, I thought, my unique way to study. I thought I was so unique as a young man. I got over myself, but at the time I was very impressed with how I did things at 14, and that's when I started doing that. And it's just my way now, and it's just how I do it. And I've learned from many people along the way. Sterling Hayden, Mickey Rourke. All kinds of people. Paul Thomas. Bob Fosse. I've never stopped learning, and it's so much fun to learn and to be in this industry because artistically it's endless. And if you're like me and you're lucky and you get offers every day from all over the world, oh my God, you just have to go.
That's true. You do. Well, anywhere you need me, I'll be there with you on set, whatever for media. I told you're beautiful. Seriously, I told Eliza, your beautiful wife, I said, listen, let's not make this a one-hit wonder. We got to have you on all the time.
Sure, I'm available. Whenever I'm home, let's get together like this.
Please, sure. Please. You told your mother when you were 7 years old, Eric, you were going to become an actor. What would she say to you today? And how do you think she would feel for how well and successful you've been and you're continuing in this industry?
Well, Mom and Dad were always very supportive of me being an actor. And I had a terrible stutter as a kid. So socially, I was not welcome in school because I'm the kid who talked funny, and I was also short. I was 4'10" in the 8th grade in high school, and when I graduated high school, I was 5'4", and I grew 5 inches that year.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a very painful year in my joints. But so I got kind of average size finally, but I was always very small and I stuttered. So I was always odd man out. And except in acting. In acting, I could talk, I knew my lines, I could do everything. I was as good as everybody else. And it made me proud and it made me feel included. And also, acting is a special vocation and it's not always the same. Every job is different. And so I just fell in love with all the possibilities.
Thank you. We've got about 5 minutes left. Does anybody else in the audience have a question? Alfred, Donna, Maria?
I have a question that I can ask, Stephen.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Eric. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, brother.
My question is, do you have any strategy to the way that you approach your career or any goals that you have in your career still at this point?
That's
Like,
such a great
what would you
question
say
to
your
ask
approach is?
me. Because yes, I had a strategy. Oh man, it was a strategy. But it all fell by the wayside when they took film, because like every other movie star, I made 1 to 4 movies a year. Then they took film and they gave us digital. So everybody became a studio who had a camera. So they started calling me direct. And about 1997 or 8, my wife comes to me and says, honey, we're getting 30 to 50 offers every day from all over the world. Do you want to go pursue this? I said, sure, thinking it will last a year or two. But that was 30 years ago. And I got 30 to 50 offers every day from all over the world. And we had no idea that was going to happen. And once it happened, and I started going out on these incredible jobs all over the world, I started meeting these incredible young filmmakers who were just like me when I was a kid. They love what they do like their mothers. And I understand them. And I want to work for them because I understand what they are. And it makes me happy to know that. And I've had so much fun. And I met so many incredible people because it takes an incredible person to want to make a film and then do it. And I know everything that involves. And so before I even meet them, I adore them. I am proud of them. I know what they're going through.
It's wonderful. Anyone else?
You mentioned Bob Fosse, Star 80. You played Paul Snyder, a real life character. How is your approach like to play a real life character?
Well, in all honesty, I put myself into Bob Fosse's lap and I said, okay, I'm here, but you're driving. And he basically gave me every nuance, every physical move, every emotional move I made in that movie came from his brain. And I stayed very loose and very open and very usable and for him. And I was his puppet, almost literally. And I allowed him to create Paul Snyder through my physical self. And we made that movie together. And we had a great time together. It was hard, man. That's a hard movie because it's not pleasant. And I was playing a guy who was an a-hole. So it was not fun. It was just definite. And have I answered the question?
Yeah, and in both of my questions, you answered like how much you trusted the director. So I believe you, the roles that you choose is mostly you. You're more dedicated to what is asked from you, the director. You must love the director to say yes to a project. Is that correct?
I'm not necessarily. I work with many guys that I did not enjoy their company, but they're my boss, and I'm an old world kind of trained actor. It's a dictatorial system. You have a dictator, the director, and everybody else. And that's kind of how it works best because you have one guy's vision. He's saying, here's what we're doing. And everybody follows him. That's how it works best. If he's good. If he's not good, that's how it works worst because, he's not good enough. But half of them are good enough and half of them are great. half of that half are great. I mean, you just have to give them a chance. And you have to also understand we all make mistakes. It's not the end of the world.
Eric, I want to say thank you for being on Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. I truly hope this interview served you well.
Oh, what a nice interview and nice questions, audience. Thank you. I don't usually get that good at questions. Thank you.
We've got. Do you want to take one more question, Eric? We've got two.
Sure, I'll take another question.
All right, so we got less than 2 minutes. Who would like to get one more question in? Lavanya, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hi, Eric. Nice to speak with you.
Lavanya.
Hi. I just recently saw, after the passing of David Lynch, there were all these videos online, and I came across a video where he's constantly giving instructions on his dictaphone type of, not dictaphone, that thingy that they use, the directors, and constantly like guiding the actors on what they need to feel and think and all of that stuff. So I was wondering, as an actor, do you think that's helpful? I mean, it seems like it's pretty distracting and it can get pretty annoying, but it was David Lynch. But I'm curious to know your point of view on that.
My point of view is this: the director is the boss. If that's how he works, that's how you have to work. It's his movie. He's making it his way. You either go with it or you quit. And if you quit, that's no fun.
Well, that's all the time for now. Eric, thank you. We will be in touch, and it's been an honor.
All my love and respect.
Take care. Peace out.
Recording stopped.
Hi.
Thank you so much for that. We are now out of that. Thank you so much.
It was so pleasant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love your questions. I love your audience's questions.
Thank you. I don't know if we're going to get cut off. Your wife did give me a phone number if I needed to call you back, but I just want to be here continuously for you.
Oh, thank you, dude. That's so sweet of you, man.
Thank you.
You have a great day, and thanks again. And anytime you want to talk to me, let the wife know. We'll talk.
Perfect. Thank you, Eric.
Peace out.
Peace
have
out.
a great ass day.
You too.